The blue and yellow lights of Blockbuster once painted every corner of America. Friday nights meant popcorn, aisles of VHS tapes, and the thrill of choosing a movie before the clock hit midnight. It wasn't just a store, it was an experience. Families bonded there, teenagers found their first jobs there, couples argued over what to rent there. But behind the warm nostalgia was a ticking time bomb, a business model addicted to punishment. Late fees weren't a side note, they were the engine. In 2000 alone, Blockbuster made $800 million just from people returning tapes a few hours late. It was the perfect business until the world changed. And instead of adapting, Blockbuster doubled down on the very thing that would destroy it. What secret obsession blinded a billion-dollar empire to the future right in front of it? It's easy to think Netflix killed Blockbuster, but the truth is darker and far more revealing. Blockbuster didn't die because of technology. It died because of arrogance. The company that once dominated entertainment couldn't see that convenience was about to replace control. They had the chance to buy Netflix for $50 million. They laughed. 6 years later, they filed for bankruptcy. But why did they really say no? What did they believe would protect them from the wave that swallowed everyone else? In this story, we'll uncover the hidden reason behind Blockbuster's fall and how it serves as a warning to every business still stuck in the past. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to History Backstage, where we pull the curtain on the real stories behind power, progress, and collapse. Like, comment, and share if you believe history should be told honestly, not just by the winners. Because what happened to Blockbuster isn't just about one company's failure. It's about the danger of comfort, the illusion of control, and how every empire writes its own obituary long before the world reads it. In the late 1980s and throughout the 1990s, America was addicted to physical entertainment. Home video wasn't just a market, it was a revolution. Owning a VCR meant freedom from cable schedules and theater prices. At the center of this revolution stood a single name: Blockbuster. With its bright carpets, blue uniforms, and rows of neatly stacked tapes, it represented the American dream of control and abundance. By 1994, Blockbuster had over 3,400 stores and was expanding globally. The company's founder, David Cook, had created a machine that turned nostalgia into profit. Every neighborhood had one, every Friday had a ritual. But behind that cheerful facade, Blockbuster wasn't about movies. It was about money flow. Every tape on the shelf was a data point, every late fee a guaranteed margin. It was the most profitable punishment in corporate America. The late fee model was no accident. Blockbuster's business was designed around it. Customers thought they were paying for entertainment, but what they were really paying for was delay. By the year 2000, analysts estimated that 16% of Blockbuster's total revenue came from late fees alone. That meant millions of Americans were essentially fined for being human. But no one complained. People accepted it because there was no alternative. It was a monopoly of convenience, built on cultural habit. It had become as American as Coca-Cola until the internet began whispering a different kind of promise. Instant access, no penalties, no humiliation at the counter. By the early 2000s, the digital horizon was approaching fast. Broadband was expanding, DVDs were replacing VHS tapes, and Silicon Valley was learning how to deliver entertainment through data instead of plastic. But Blockbuster didn't see this as a threat. It saw it as noise. They had 9,000 stores, 60,000 employees, and brand loyalty that seemed unshakable. They believed people wanted the ritual of renting. They believed the drive, the selection, and the smell of popcorn were irreplaceable. What they didn't understand was that the American consumer was shifting from ownership to access. The same society that once valued collection was starting to crave convenience. And convenience doesn't wait in line. Meanwhile, in California, two men, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, were building a company that understood that shift. Netflix wasn't born from ambition alone. It was born from frustration, specifically Hastings' anger at paying $40 in late fees to Blockbuster for a copy of Apollo 13. That moment wasn't just personal, it was prophetic. Netflix's model flipped the script: no late fees, unlimited rentals, home delivery. It was a direct challenge to Blockbuster's lifeblood, but at first the giant didn't flinch, didn't. In 2000, Netflix executives walked into Blockbuster's Dallas headquarters with a proposal. "Buy us, we'll handle your online strategy." Blockbuster laughed. Literally. CEO John Antioco dismissed the offer as a niche idea. It was arrogance disguised as confidence, and it sealed their fate. By 2004, Blockbuster's leadership finally noticed the bleeding. The internet had matured. Broadband speeds made streaming feasible. Yet the company's internal culture was built on brick and mortar and punishment. They removed late fees in a desperate move, but it was too late. The brand that once symbolized joy had become a relic of frustration. Netflix, with its red envelopes and no-hassle model, was growing exponentially. By 2007, it mailed over 1 billion DVDs. Blockbuster, meanwhile, was losing hundreds of millions. What had started as a late fee revolution ended as a cautionary tale. But to understand why the company couldn't adapt, we need to look inside its machine: how it worked, who it served, and why it couldn't evolve. Inside Blockbuster, profit wasn't driven by innovation. It was engineered by restriction. Every tape had a return window, every customer had a deadline, and every minute past that deadline meant money. Late fees weren't just tolerated, they were celebrated. Executives proudly called them a discipline system. Store managers were trained to enforce the rules with precision, not empathy. Corporate spreadsheets reflected it clearly. Late fees guaranteed predictable cash flow. That's why changing the model felt impossible. The system rewarded punishment. And the more customers fell behind, the more profitable Blockbuster became. It was a cycle of dependency disguised as customer service. But when the digital revolution began, that same rigidity became poison. Innovation requires flexibility, and Blockbuster's DNA was control. The company's leadership was equally rigid. CEO John Antioco understood that Netflix's subscription model posed a real threat, but the board didn't. They saw physical stores as the empire's fortress, not its prison. Blockbuster's revenue model depended on physical visits, people entering, browsing, and being tempted to rent just one more. That required geography, not bandwidth. When Antioco proposed building a streaming service, executives pushed back. They argued it would cannibalize store revenue. Ironically, they were right, but that was the only path to survival. Instead, they chose to protect the old engine a little longer. It is the same mistake that kills empires, defending what worked yesterday at the cost of tomorrow. Internally, Blockbuster was also a victim of its own culture. Employees feared mistakes, innovation was slow, and decisions had to pass through layers of bureaucracy. Franchisees resisted digital integration because they feared losing autonomy. Every store was its own tiny kingdom, yet all were chained to corporate policy. When Blockbuster finally tried to remove late fees in 2005, it wasn't a customer-first move. It was damage control. But even that was botched. The company replaced them with hidden restocking fees that customers quickly discovered. Lawsuits followed, trust eroded, and the brand that once defined family movie nights was now associated with deception. Netflix, meanwhile, was building trust with every red envelope. Financially, the writing was on the wall. Between 2004 and 2009, Blockbuster's debt skyrocketed from $1 billion to over $900 million, while revenue plummeted. The company spent millions on marketing slogans like "No more late fees," only to lose credibility when the fine print revealed otherwise. Executives doubled down on expensive store expansions, even as data showed rentals were declining. In contrast, Netflix was reinvesting every dollar into logistics, recommendation algorithms, and eventually streaming technology. It wasn't just a business war, it was a philosophy war. One side believed in control, the other believed in convenience. And convenience always wins. But the final nail in the coffin came from within. In 2007, Antioco was replaced by Jim Keyes, former CEO of 7-Eleven. His vision? To restore traditional values. He immediately shut down Blockbuster's online division, calling digital streaming a niche fad. It was the fatal decision that erased any chance of recovery. By the time the company realized its error, it was 2010, and Netflix had already begun its streaming era. The empire of aisles and fluorescent lights was facing a digital giant it had mocked a decade earlier. The machine that once printed money had turned into a monument of denial. But the real story wasn't just about money. It was about people, about what happens when progress meets pride. When Blockbuster began closing its stores, it wasn't just a company collapsing. It was an era vanishing overnight. Entire neighborhoods lost their gathering spot. Friday nights changed forever. Employees who had spent years memorizing movie aisles and customer preferences were suddenly jobless. By 2010, Blockbuster had shut down over 6,000 stores, leaving nearly 25,000 Americans without work. For many, the closing wasn't just financial, it was emotional. The blue and yellow sign wasn't just branding, it was part of the American fabric. Kids who once ran through those aisles now drove past empty storefronts, their neon lights replaced by for lease signs. What was once the temple of choice had turned into a graveyard of nostalgia. Economically, the ripple effect went far beyond employees. Local landlords lost anchor tenants. Small businesses near Blockbuster stores, pizza places, convenience shops, diners, saw sharp declines in traffic. The company's fall triggered an invisible recession across suburban America's weekend economy. Families no longer had a reason to go out for entertainment. Streaming made everything private, personal, and isolated. Netflix's victory was revolutionary, but it also changed the way society connected. Renting a movie became an individual act instead of a communal ritual. Progress had won, but community had lost. That's the price hidden behind every technological victory. Connection traded for convenience. Culturally, Blockbuster's death marked the end of an era of patience. The ritual of browsing shelves, debating titles, and discovering something unexpected was replaced by algorithms. Artificial intelligence started deciding what we might like before we even asked. The magic of the hunt was gone. Entertainment had become sterile, frictionless, and silent. There was no more human interaction, no late-night debates with clerks, no accidental discoveries on dusty shelves. Streaming gave us everything we wanted, instantly. But it also robbed us of the joy of searching. The fall of Blockbuster wasn't just a corporate failure, it was the start of algorithmic living. For the people who once worked inside those stores, the transformation was personal. Former managers described the collapse as watching a friend die. Many tried to adapt, joining Netflix's growing workforce or moving into retail. But for others, it was the end of stability. Their skills, customer service, catalog knowledge, physical logistics, became obsolete overnight. It's a story repeated across industries whenever technology disrupts human labor. The lesson was clear. No matter how loyal or hardworking you are, when convenience arrives, humans become optional. The world had learned to consume without contact. And yet, not everything died with Blockbuster. A single store remains in Bend, Oregon, a time capsule of the 1990s, preserved by locals who refused to let go. Tourists visit it like a museum of a simpler age. Rows of VHS tapes, handwritten notes, and plastic membership cards stand as relics of a pre-digital world. Ironically, this last Blockbuster survives not because of business logic, but because of sentiment, the very emotion the company once exploited. It's a reminder that progress doesn't erase nostalgia, it amplifies it. And as we stream our endless options today, that little store in Oregon whispers a haunting truth. We traded magic for efficiency. So what really killed Blockbuster? It wasn't Netflix. It wasn't technology. It was blindness, the inability to see that the future doesn't wait for comfort. The company that once owned Friday night refused to evolve because it believed people would never let go of what was familiar. But history doesn't honor comfort. It rewards adaptation. Blockbuster's downfall was written the moment it chose control over innovation, arrogance over humility, profit over progress. The late fees that once kept its empire alive became the symbol of everything people wanted to escape. The empire collapsed not because it ran out of money, but because it ran out of relevance. In the end, nostalgia couldn't save them from their own reflection. The rise of Netflix was only the surface. Beneath it lies a deeper story, one about every industry that believes it's untouchable. From taxis ignoring Uber to newspapers ignoring the internet, arrogance repeats itself like a curse. Technology didn't destroy Blockbuster, it simply exposed the truth about human nature. We crave convenience more than tradition. We choose speed over sentiment. And in doing so, we bury the very things that once made us feel connected. The death of Blockbuster wasn't just a business case, and it was a cultural obituary. It marked the moment when human rituals gave way to algorithms, when experience became subscription, and when emotion was replaced by efficiency. If this story opened your eyes to what really happens behind the curtain of progress, subscribe to History Backstage. Here, we reveal the hidden truths, the greed, pride, and power struggles that shaped our world. Like and share this video and tell us in the comments what you remember about walking into a Blockbuster video store. Because the more we understand the past, the better we see the present for what it is. Not a miracle of innovation, but a cycle of human choices that repeats itself over time. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and until the next video.